the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back, once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, Performance Motorsports Truck Series fires things off in round number 2 in the chase for the championship here in season number 2. Kansas Speedway gonna host yet another cutoff race here tonight. Which one of these drivers will make their way above the cutoff line? Very, very close points battle coming into tonight's race. As happy hour comes to a close, we'll get set to fire things off here in qualifying 5-minute session for these drivers to try to take the provisional pole here tonight in the NTM's 118 from Kansas Speedway. How you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could all join us here tonight. As always, Darkside Dave in the cave, bringing you all the calls from the track once again here on your home for Swift Motorsports. A lot of drivers jumping out very early out there, so as they begin to put in their time lapse, we will begin to show those graphics on screen. Let you follow along at home just like we do right here in the booth. And with the season winding down, these drivers, I don't want to say the tempers are flaring, but the elbows are up a little bit more, spots a little bit harder to come by. Doesn't look like anybody's really worried about being the consistent driver, more so trying to be the dominant driver, as this chase very, very short here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Just a 5-race chase, and we have already got one in the bag. One more here tonight for round number 1. Then we will fire things off once again next week at Kentucky, then head down to Darlington for round number 2. So these drivers got to get it done, some of them on the outside looking in, as these drivers do begin to turn in some qualifying laps. We'll go ahead and throw that information on the screen for you right there to the top left-hand side there. You can see already 2 minutes into this 5-minute qualifying session, and Jason Ayerson takes the top of the speed charts. Oh, he's going to get knocked off by Edward Bray, the 66 quick time, 31:27. Now, Jonathan Holston, he's going to snatch that away with a 31:25.7. So very, very close. Caden Atkins puts his Ford F-150 top of the speed charts now, just about halfway through this qualifying session. Will we see anybody break down into the sub 31:10s? We'll have to wait and see if that is possible. There you can see Caden Atkins still leading the poll standings right now, 31:19 for Atkins. Alan Young going to slot into that second spot. Nick Hunt, solid qualifying effort. He's in third right now. Jonathan McMillan Jr., he went to victory lane last night in the Ayers iRacing Paint Harker Menard Series right here for the Twister 110. Can McMillan Jr. duplicate the magic on the track here tonight? Looks like he's going to start a little bit behind the 8 ball back there in the 7th position. Let's see who we've still got out there on a qualifying time. Looks like Brian Hitz still yet to put down his qualifying time, being scored in the 20th position right now, as we've got just a little under 2 minutes remaining here in this qualifying session. Doesn't look like we're really going to have anybody else out there, so that provisional poll gonna go to the 2 Ford F-150 being piloted by Caden Atkins. Quick time here in qualifying, 31:19. And as these drivers roll the trucks behind pit wall to get through final inspections before we head to the starting grid, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Head down trackside for your national anthem. We'll be right back. You won't miss any of the action here tonight. The ATM's 118 live on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
You wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Back live trackside as the drivers begin to make their way through final pre-race inspection. And that's going to give us a little bit of an opportunity to run down some of the official standings coming in to tonight's race. There you can see it right there front and center on your screen. Todd Cray, after taking the victory last week, he finds himself atop of the point standings heading into tonight's cutoff race. Caden Atkins right there, Jim Thorndike, Brian Hitz, Edward Bray safe inside your top five. Ryan Branchew, Andy Starcher, Alan Young, Nick Hunt, Lee Staples, Jason Ayerson, your pole sitter. Or sorry, Caden Atkins is actually your pole sitter. Sorry about that. Jason Ayerson sitting right there in 11th. Michael Atkins Jr. rounds out those 12 drivers still in their championship hunt. And Nick Hunt, Lee Staples, Jason Ayerson, Michael Atkins Jr., they all need a solid run here tonight, or they very well may see their championships go right out the window as we wind down to find out who's going to be the Great Eight there in round number 2. And it looks like the field has slowly begun to make their way to their starting spots. Those familiar bells in the background ringing. You know what that sound means. It's time to run down tonight's starting lineup for the ATM's 118 right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, race number 11 in season number 2. That's right, Chase race number 2, taking that top spot, pole position inside row number 1, the 2 of Caden Atkins. Lining up just to his outside, the 86 of Alan Young. Row number 2 here tonight, the 00 of Nick Hunt, followed by that 73 of Jonathan Holston. Row number 3, the 66 of Edward Bray, followed by the famous 21 of Todd Cray. Inside row number 4, in that 7th position, there you can find last night's race winner, the Ayers Eye Racing Paints Harker Menard Series right here at Kansas Speedway, the 15 of Little John McMillan. The 84 of Sebastian Guggen gonna line up right there in the 8th spot. Inside row number 5, the 44 of Jason Ayerson, followed by Michael Atkins Jr. 11th position on the speedway here tonight, the 13 of Ryan Douglas. The 4 of Jim Ott gonna line up just to his outside. Inside row number 7, the 5 of Lee Staples, followed by the 28 of Ron Schutte. Jim Thorndike gonna slot in that 15th position. 16th goes to David Cameron. Inside row number 9, Jimmy Cormier just to his outside. Big Mac, John McMillan Sr. 22 of Brian Hitz will line up in that 19th spot. 20th goes to Larry Poling, and there you can see a handful of race admins and officials up in the race control booth here tonight. Big shout out to each and every one of them, and well, it's time. Are you ready to go? I'm ready to run. Are these Performance Motorsports truck drivers ready to tackle Kansas Speedway, this 1.5 mile D-shaped oval? Who's gonna get the job done here tonight? Pace car down in the way, music fading, and green flag flies for the first time here tonight from Kansas Speedway. Caden Atkins gets off to a good jump. We'll jump back just a little bit, try to open up the track, open up the view for you just a little bit. Side by side battle back here for 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th on the speedway. Go ahead and mix in Jason Erson and Todd Cray, 7th and 8th on the speedway. All six, I should say, of those truck drivers all battling for positions here very early as Nick Hunt has scooted himself away from this pack. Hunt already out to a half a second advantage over the drivers scrounging for positions behind. Your top two setting sail very early here, just beginning lap number 2. And your race leader, he's got himself a 0.3 of a second advantage over Nick Hunt, who's got a half a second over the rest of the field. There you can see those front two truck drivers making their way off of turn 2 down the backstretch. Long train of cars, all single file back behind these drivers right here who are trying to slowly make their way up through the field. Good action on the track very early here tonight, so we'll jump around, mix it on up for you just a little bit. There you can see Jason Harrison in the 44 machine looking to the bottom of the speedway. He's going to look for a spot on Todd Cray here in just a moment as John McMillan Jr. in that 15 machine seems to be struggling just a little bit. Familiar iRacing sponsored 15, piloted by John McMillan Jr., 2 almost 3 wide behind him between the 86, the 44, as well as Alan Young in that 86. So all of those drivers all packed up with each other here, vying for positions on the track. Top of the charts has come to find themselves with a big-time battle. Look at this, the field all coming back together. Caden Atkins, he now has company. Edward Bray right there behind him, tucked in line, trying to take a spot away. Now coming through the tri-oval. Atkins going to continue to lead the race. Edward Bray now up to second. He's going to look to the inside, not going to be there. Big move there back by, I believe that is the 1373, I apologize, of Jonathan Holston right there on the inside lane, trying to make something happen. He's trying to move a little bit further inside of the top 5 right now, holding down that last spot in the top 5. 2 wide, close. Look at Nick Hunt. Will he make it 3 wide out there in that Chick-fil-A? Am I seeing this right? Nick Hunt no longer in the Popeyes machine. Hunt has got the Chick-fil-A Chevy Silverado wound up on the high side, losing a little bit of ground there. There you can see the tail end shake just a little bit. That's going to let Little John make his way around. Jason Harrison goes to the bottom of the speedway as well. He looks to take that spot away from Hunt. Still a close battle up here for the top spot. New race leader crossing the line just by a nose. The 21 of Todd Cray has hunted the front, and he has got a lap lead in his back pocket. Can he make it a sweet 6 for the wins on the season here tonight? If he can get to victory lane, that's going to be his 6th victory here this season in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Look for Cray to try to step away from the rest of the field. And there you go, Jess, right there, top spot. The man didn't take very long to get there. And now let's see how he fares trying to keep the rest of the field behind him. Keep in mind, Caden Atkins jumped out to a quick lead, but the field kind of slowly packed up and made their way back up there to Atkins as he's given up that top spot. What can Cray and that 21 do? We'll continue to watch for battles all over this speedway. Might jump around just a little bit now back to the 66 of Edward Bray, who is battling with Alan Young. That 86 down on the bottom of the speedway. He's got the 13 coming hard right behind him. There you can see that iHeartRadio Toyota Tundra piloted by Ryan Douglas. Douglas not having as good of a night last night in the Ayers iRacing Paints ARCA Menard Series here for Swift of Motorsports last night in the Twist of 110 here from Kansas Speedway. Will that 13 be able to have a little bit better of a night? Still a long, long way to go, a long time to find out, sort things out. So we'll continue to watch these battles all unfold, continue to watch some of these drivers that are in the hot seat, if you will. Nobody really out of tonight's races. We started with 21 drivers here tonight. A lot of points can be made up, a lot of ground gained and lost. Nobody truly safe except about your top 3 or 4 drivers. Edward Bray may be fairly safe, just 9 points behind your points leader coming into tonight's race, Todd Cray. So it looks like probably Ryan Branchew and on back from there. Those are the drivers that we're going to have to keep our eye on. In mentioning Ryan Branchew, he is not on the track. He is not here, so that is not going to vote well for him. I would imagine that will push him out of the points for making the cutoff line here for the chase in season number 2 for Performance Motorsports Truck Series battle for the top spot. Once again, Todd Cray has got Caden Atkins looking to the inside. Andy Starcher, also one of those drivers needing a solid finish here tonight to try to make his way up inside of that top 8. Let's see if Starcher is out there on track. And I am not seeing Andy Starcher out there on track, so yet another championship chase contender not here, not on the track, not making laps, and that does not vote well for his championship standings. Him and Ryan Branchew, they're going to have some trouble. They're going to end up out of the chase at the end of this one. Nick Hunt, Alan Young, both running well out there on the track. Alan Young sitting as the last car inside the top 5. Nick Hunt inside the top 10, running in the 9th position right now. Lee Staples, Jason Ayerson, Michael Atkins Jr., those drivers also needing some good finishes here tonight. Staples up there in the 11th position. Michael Ayers Jr. struggled to get inside the top 10 for just a brief moment, now running in that 7th position. And Jason Ayerson, he is also running well. He's going to jump himself into the top 5 as Todd Cray took the lead back. He continues to try to stretch it out, but not able to do so just yet. Cray going to keep that middle lane as Atkins goes way up the track, almost into that outside wall. Last night here at Kansas Speedway, drivers set an unprecedented 110 laps of green flag racing in the Ayers iRacing Paints ARCA Menard Series. Can these drivers right here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, can they replicate? Can they do the same thing and set the benchmark for the RB Rigs Custom Computers Xfinity Series here in Swift Motorsports? Can we see back-to-back race nights with no cautions? Still a very long way to go, 103 laps before we can call that true or not. But as of right now, that's got that green flag feeling starting to gap themselves just a little bit. Is the front of the field. Todd Cray enjoys a 2.5 tenth second advantage over Caden Atkins, who's got 3/10 over Little John. Little John's got a little bit of time back to Alan Young, so there you can see those gaps slowly beginning to develop, and then it is somewhat of a hornet's nest back here with these drivers. Jason Ayerson trying to make up some time on Michael Atkins Jr. He's into the outside wall. The 41 scrapes the wall in turns 1 and 2. That's going to slow the momentum. He's going to get put 3 wide back there with that 00 of Nick Hunt. So Michael Atkins Jr. running strong, knocking on the door of a top 5 now. He is on the outside of your top 10 looking in. Michael Atkins Jr., one of those drivers needing a solid run here tonight. He came in to tonight's race sitting last in the championship chase standings, 24 points out of the race, out of the championship lead, and just about, let's see, what is that? 6 points out of the cutoff line. So still very possible with two drivers not making the field here tonight. So that's going to leave us with just dropping two more drivers on the evening, on the chase standings, if you will. And with it being a very close battle, just 3 points separating Nick Hunt from Michael Atkins Jr. Lee Staples right there, just 1 point behind Hunt. 21, 22, 23, and 24 points behind your championship leader respectively right now. So those four drivers really going to be battling it out all night long for who's going to make it into those cutoff positions. 2 positions available, so 2 out of those 4 drivers should make the field as long as they have pretty decent runs here tonight. And right now, let's see, we'll run this down. Jason Harrison looks like he's got himself in the championship standings where he's running right now. Nick Hunt, I believe, on the outside looking in, as Lee Staples running inside the top 10. So a top 5 in a 8th position right now on the track secures the championship spot, that chase spot for both Ayrson and Staples. Nick Hunt sitting back in 10th. He's going to need to gain a little bit more ground here tonight if he's going to have a shot at putting himself into round number 2 here in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, brought to you by Swift. Small battles all over the speedway. We'll jump back to this big scrum of trucks all battling for spots, and there we mentioned it, your championship chase contenders, they begin to battle with each other. Lee Staples has got Nick Hunt packed in right behind him all over the tail end of that step tire Chevy Silverado. Can the Chick-fil-A machine get to the high side and get around? And look who's just behind Hunt. That's that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. He's running right here with these drivers. If he can make his way in front of them, he may close that gap just a little bit, may have to make another pass or two for position without giving up any time to the 2 drivers in front of him as we go on board overhead camera shot here with Nick Hunt as we head down into turn number 3. Still side-by-side battles, big-time push, bump draft almost here at Kansas Speedway for that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. all over the tail end of Nick Hunt. Hunt back to the high side once again. He's going to try to go high, wide, and handsome. And around that 5 of Staples, he's going to keep it wound up. He's going to pull side-by-side down the backstretch. Keeping it wound up at the high side, and Nick Hunt gonna go to inside of your top 10. And we've got drivers to pit road very early. Larry Poling looks like he's had some issues, so Edward Bray, Lee Staples, Jonathan Holston all down to pit road. That time by should I'm not sure this is the time to pull some fuel strategy. Not quite sure what the fuel window is for these drivers here tonight. Last night, drivers were able to stretch it 35 to 37 laps on the fuel, so a little bit early in the game for these drivers to be coming down pit. Excuse me. My goodness. To be coming down pit road, but what that did, that brought a lot of other drivers down pit road now as well. Ron Schutte, Jim Thorndike, Brian Douglas, Jimmy Cormier, Brian Hitz, Stephen Ayers Jr. and David Cameron, they're all going to come to pit road that last time by. Your race leader, Caden Atkins, he's going to break away for pit road. Todd Cray going to follow him down. And now Jason Ayrson also comes to pit road. Your top 5 still staying out on the track. John McMillan Jr. now leads the field. We'll jump out there take a ride around the track here with Little John. He's got himself just about a 1 second advantage over Sebastian Guggen. We've seen this man begin to lead the race late in the green flag runs last night. Will he extend this run and put himself in a totally different fuel window and fuel strategy for the rest of the evening? Because he's the only driver left out there on the track yet to come to pit road. Lap number 28 now on the board. Will he make it a 29th? No, gonna go ahead, pull off. This time looks like he woes up in time. No tires smoke. So McMillan gonna get his full service fuel and tires, and now Todd Cray looks to take back over that race lead. He's got to come all the way back around to get around John McMillan Jr., who's about halfway down pit road. Oh my goodness. Gosh. Vitamin water not really helping at this point in time. Might have to switch that on up. Anyways, lap number 29 now on the board out of the 118 scheduled in tonight's official race distance here for the ATM's 118 in Performance Motorsports Truck Series, brought to you by Swift. Todd Cray goes back to the top spot. He's got himself a 3, almost 4/10 second advantage over Caden Atkins, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-truck show at the front of this field. And want to take a look through the timing and scoring at the pit stops, at the pit road deltas for these drivers. Caden Atkins, one of the fastest pit stops out there, but the fastest pit stop of them all, that's going to go to the driver sitting back there in the 7th position, Sebastian Guggen, with a 14.72 on pit road. Caden Atkins running in the 2nd spot, 14.97. Todd Cray leading tonight's race, 15.07. So Cray a little bit slow in the box, but quick coming to pit road and getting back up the speed. He smashed the field on the pit road delta. Most of the field sitting right there, hovering around that 45-second flat margin, with Todd Cray below 44 seconds, 43.87 on and off of pit road, and Cray was able to make up some time, and that is how he reassumed the race lead here. Crossing the line that time by, that's going to bring us to lap number 32 out of the 118 scheduled here tonight in the NTM's 118. And well, race fans, let's see. Yeah, Josh, I'm good. I'm good now. I was dying for like 3 minutes, though. No, I'm just kidding. On board overhead camera shot here with Todd Cray. Caden Atkins down to the bottom of the raceway. There you can see that two machine trying to make his way to the high side. A little bit of a slide job. Very clean and clear slide job, but the two going to go back to the top spot here as he made his way around that 21 of Todd Cray. Both of these drivers coming down pit road back on lap number 26. So I do believe these drivers are going to make multiple stops here tonight, at least 3, possibly even 4 pit stops in order to get to the end of tonight's race. We'll have to see if that holds true for the rest of the night here tonight, but now already starting to stretch a little bit of a gap between himself and Gray is Atkins. Gonna jump back a little bit further through the field, and the 44 of Jason Ayerson looking to take that third and final podium spot away, and he's going to do so. And then Bray, what a big crossover. He's going to drop right to the bottom of the speedway, trying to take that spot back. Not able to do so just yet. Side by side battle there into, contact between Bray and Ayerson. And Jimmy Cormier, he's had some trouble. Issues for that 95 machine. He's going to go ahead and go down to pit road. Big time trouble there for Jimmy Cormier. He's already in his pit box and looks like hood goes up and now slam down and back behind the wall. The crew begins to push that 95, so he's going to be the first driver scored out of tonight's race. As Larry Poling, he's still here, still trying to fix that machine down there behind pit road wall. We'll see if he can get back out on the track and gain a spot or two. Nick Hunt, he's had some trouble, and he has seen his championship hopes and dreams slip through his fingertips right here, right now, tonight at Kansas Speedway for the NTM's 118. Close battle at the top of the speedway. The top two beginning to battle once again. We'll jump back up to this one right here. Take a look at Todd Cray and Caden Atkins as they continue to battle for that top spot. Will this small little two-car scrum at the front of the field, will it be enough to slow their pace down and allow Jason Ayerson and Edward Bray to slowly make some time up to slowly get that 3+ second advantage wiped out and wiped away? It's slowly but surely going that way. We're going to jump back a little bit through the field. There you can see Michael Atkins Jr. He's got Jim Ott, Alan Youngman on screen in the Serve Pro 28 Toyota Tundra. Ron Schutte sitting in the 11th spot. All of these drivers gapped up with each other anywhere from about 2 to 5/10, a half a second between the drivers that they find themselves running around right now as we cross the line that time by to begin lap number 39 out of the 118 scheduled here tonight in the official race distance. And I tell you what, it's early, race fans, but if you haven't already, toss these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there on the right hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by, whether you're just sliding through to say hey or stopping by like Josh to make sure I'm okay, or you are the dedicated fan, friend, or family out there in the chat like we find Jess out there week in, week out, multiple nights during the week. Big time shout out to you. High five, if you will, right there. There you go. We do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in each and every week here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And with that being said, once again, race fans, toss these Performance Motorsports drivers a thumbs up. Getting a little weird, getting a little wacky here. Long season coming to a close here in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth. Season number 2. What a season, man, for Todd Cray. We'll go back up here and highlight this man trying to take that top spot away. Once again, there you can see Todd Cray sitting in that second position. And Cray, as I said, we'll highlight him just a little bit on screen. There you can see that 21 machine running strong week in, week out. He has been to victory lane 5 times so far this season. Nobody else able to go to victory lane multiple times except for one other man. Josh Winrich went to victory lane 2 times, and he is the only other driver here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series to visit victory lane more than 1 time. As now Todd Cray looks for that top spot once again, side by side off of 2. Battle for the race lead. Cray gonna have a little bit of an advantage right there. About a half a truck length separates your top 2 right there. Running that high side, though, trying to keep that momentum up. I tell you what, we haven't been there in a while. Why don't we go on board here with Caden Atkins hugging that outside wall, high, wide, and handsome Harry Gann line. Or if you're a little bit younger, a little bit fresher in the game, the Larson line. Worked a few times last night. Caden Atkins make that outside line work for him here tonight. We'll have to wait and see if he's able to keep that momentum up at the top of the speedway as we go back outside these trucks. There you can see Todd Cray able to keep his distance for just a moment. Big time run down the backstretch. Now looking to the bottom, having to check up just a little bit, and that's going to keep that 2 of Caden Atkins just behind Todd Cray. Another battle on the speedway. 3 cars packed up with each other. There you can see Alan Young, Jim Ott. They're battling for positions on the speedway, battling for a spot inside the top 10. And Ron Schutte in that 28 Pro Toyota Tundra sitting just behind him. Schutte looking for a spot inside your top 10. So we'll continue to jump around the racetrack, highlight a few different drivers, highlight a few different battles. Now back here just behind Michael Atkins Jr., Alan Young, and Jim Ott. That battle begins to heat up, begins to get mixed up just a little bit. Can that 4 Auto Owners Insurance Chevy Silverado make his way up and around the 86 of Alan Young? This battle has been raging on for quite some time, about 10 to 15 laps now, and we are slowly working our way back into that green flag pit stop window, and Ott into the outside wall. Jim Ott slows on the track after contact with the outside wall. Very quiet night here for that 59 GTR simulator machine piloted by Jim Thorndike. Very familiar number, very familiar man inside of that very familiar paint scheme. Thorndike, as we said, quiet night here, but slowly making his way up through the field, up 3 spots from where he started tonight's race, now running in the 12th spot, looking for more. He's got the 13 Toyota Tundra, the iHeartRadio Toyota Tundra tucked in right behind him. Brian Douglas looking to make up a little bit more ground. Gonna stay right here as this is one of your closest battles on track, and it is a 3-truck battle. Jim Thorndike, Ryan Douglas, and Brian Hitz all lined up with each other right now, making their way around the speedway. Who's gonna make a mistake? Who's gonna hit the mark coming to pit road? We'll have to wait and see. Green flag pit stops, second round of green flag pit stops now looming in the air. Most of the drivers coming down to pit road back on lap number 24 to 27 is the split. So in doing that math, if they keep it right on board with that, looks like these drivers are going to be coming to pit road in the next handful of laps as the leader takes lap number 51 out of the 118 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Todd Cray able to increase the gap now upwards of 0.3 of a second, and that is one of the biggest leads we've seen anybody have all evening long. Cray has control, but very minimized control. Gonna jump back here to what will soon be a battle on the speedway. John McMillan Jr., he is slowly closing in on Jason Ayrson as we've got a lot of cars to pit road that time by David Cameron, Brian Hitz, Ryan Douglas, Jim Thorndike, Ron Schutte, Michael Atkins Jr., Jim Ott. They all come to pit road that time by for their second round of green flag pit stops. And a second round of green flag pit stops, that means we've been clean and green all race long here tonight. All 52 laps that are in the books have been green flag. Edward Bray, Jonathan Holston in the 73, they're both going to come to pit road this time by. Gonna jump up here because what has happened? Todd Cray coming to pit road. I said what has happened because Cray opened up a 1.5 second advantage after struggling to build a gap for quite some time. He's going to bring a field of cars down with him. Caden Atkins joins him. Jason Ayrson, John McMillan Jr. as well down on pit road. That's going to leave this man out there on the track. The 84 of Sebastian Guggen now leads the race. New race leader. The 84 of Sebastian Guggen looking to see if he can somehow play some strategy games here and somehow find himself at the controls of the race towards the end of tonight's NTM's 118 Ford Performance Motorsports Truck Series. He's going to come to pit road this time by, what does this 75 of Big Mac John McMillan Sr. do? He's going to stay out on the speedway for yet another lap. John Sr. looking to possibly pull a fuel strategy move. We've seen the Mac Attack get the job done, go 1-2 last night in the Ayers Eye Racing Arca Menards series. We've seen those drivers pull a pit strategy, only stop 2 times, not coming to pit road a 3rd time like most of the field did. Will we see John Sr. trying to do that here tonight and go with just 3 stops on the brakes, hard on the brakes, tires smoking, coming to pit road? Nick Hunt gonna come down pit road as well. That's gonna bring us back to the men at the front of the field, and look at that gap. Oh my goodness. Todd Cray's pit crew right on top of the time that they set the first time, 15.03 seconds in the box, and Cray just as good on and off pit road this time, 44.23. He is setting the bar for getting on and off pit road. How about this one? Almost 2 seconds faster than Todd Cray was Sebastian Guggen. Guggen on and off pit road, 42.68. And it looks like only in his box for 11.65 seconds here. So maybe a little bit of fuel strategy games already being thrown out there by that 84 and his entire crew. Big shout out to each and every one of these drivers and crews that allow us to put some great camera shots on the cars week in, week out, as we jump on board now with the drivers sitting at the top of the point standings, top of the speed charts right now. Command of this race, Todd Cray in that 21. And there you can hear him, ladies and gentlemen, just a little lift, just a slight blip of the throttle, really, never coming completely out of the gas, just easing a little bit. Let's see about entry to 3. There you can hear it right there, that little bit of lift, and then right back to it. Cray, man, hammered down right now. He's got himself a 3.3 second advantage over Caden Atkins, your pole sitter. Jason Ayrson, he needed a good run here tonight, and he's got exactly that on his hands, rounding out your top 3 right now as they run on the speedway. We'll jump back outside of that 21, go around the track just a little bit, highlight this battle that's going to begin to brew between Jason Ayrson, John Jr., as well as Edward Bray. Bray right there in the 66 Chevy ZL1 Camaro inside your top 5. Can he somehow make up the gap, make up the time, and make up 2 more positions on the track and put himself into a podium spot? We'll have to wait to see how that all plays out. But first, gonna run through a little bit of house cleaning for you here tonight as we cross the line just a little bit past the halfway point. Lap number 60 on the board. Started tonight's race with 31 drivers. We have still got with 21 drivers, I apologize. 21 drivers making the starting grid here tonight. 19 still out there on the track with just 13 left on the lead lap. Stephen Ayers Jr., last driver, scored on the lead lap in his Toyota Tundra, and he is very close to being put down a lap as well. John McMillan Sr., Big Mac, sits as the first truck 1 lap down here tonight. He is in that lucky dog position should we see that pesky caution flag fly, but right now looks like running pretty strong as that 75. He's got quite a bit fresher tires than the drivers around him. Look for him to make up a few spots during this long green flag run. Gonna jump around to a few more battles once again. Here you can find Jim Thorndike. He's got Ron Aschuti tucked in just about 2/10 of a second back behind him. There you can see that 73 of Jonathan Holston. Holston not for position on the speedway. Holston being scored off of the lead lap back, I do believe, just one lap down, back in that 16th position. So the 59 of Thorndike, he's going to kind of just move out of the way, go ahead and yield the track spot, the track position to the lap machine of Jonathan Holston, and that's going to put him right into the clutches of Ron Schuty. Schuty trying to close that gap as we go on board now. Overhead camera shot with that 59 of Jim Thorndike that you can see. I believe that's the 73 of Holston making a pass on Alan Young. Now Young trying to use a little bit of the arrow, a little bit of the draft here, trying to keep himself tucked away from Jim Thorndike and Ron Schuty. Both of those drivers have been fairly quick on the track compared to Young at this point in time in the run. So look for these two drivers to breathe down the neck of that 86 of Alan Young. So as we continue to click off the laps here tonight, we have been clean and green since the drop of the green flag. We're going to step away for a brief commercial break, pay a few of the bills, but you won't miss any of the action as we go live with the Swift Side by Side.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
back trackside after paying a few bills. You know how that goes, you know how that is, but we're going to continue around the track now, riding with the driver in that third and final podium position. He's got himself about a second advantage over Little John McMillan Jr. running back in the fourth spot. Jason Ayerson in that 44. He needed a strong showing here tonight, as he was the third driver on the outside looking in on your championship standings, and now running in that third spot. Jason Ayerson looks to kick in the door on round number 2 and give himself a shot to continue his championship hopes and dreams. There you see the 10 with some trouble. David Cameron gets sideways right in front of the second place driver, the Ford Mustang, piloted by Caden Atkins, your pole sitter here tonight. He has led quite a few laps, but since these green flag pit cycles have started, he has slowly begun to fall to the wayside. Todd Cray now out to almost a 4.5 second race advantage. Lap number 75 now on the board. Out of the 118 scheduled in tonight's official race distance, we will have a green-white checkered attempt if we need it, but not looking like we're going to need that here tonight. These Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers have been clean and green all night long. Sebastian Guggen, he's going to go ahead and come down pit road this time by, so the 84 first to hit pit road, and we should see the rest of the field begin to make their way down pit road here in the next, I would say, 2 to 5 laps. We should see multiple more drivers exit the speedway and down on the pit road. Todd Cray continues to build that advantage, almost now a 5-second advantage for Cray over Atkins. We'll jump back to this battle as the 15 begins to close in on the 44 of Jason Ayerson. Ayerson running into some lap traffic just in front of him. The 10 of David Cameron. Michael Atkins Jr. in the 41 gonna break off the speedway. He's gonna come to pit road. Pit road gonna be a busy place over the next handful of laps. There you can see both Jason Ayerson and John Jr. What a run to pit road. He closed that gap, and he was all over that rear deck lid of Jason Ayerson coming to pit road. There you can see both of those drivers packed up with each other. We'll jump a little further back on the track. Here you can see Ron Schutte, Jim Thorndike coming to pit road. Ryan Douglas in the 13 also going to join the drivers on pit road will be Lee Staples. We'll jump around to the front of the field, well, because Todd Cray is out to now almost a 5.5 second race advantage. Your top 5 all staying out on the speedway. Todd Cray, Caden Atkins Jr., Edward Bray, Alan Young, and Brian Hitz round out your top 5, and those are the only drivers that yet to come back down to pit road. Scratch that, Jim Ott, as well as Jonathan Holston and Big Mac. They're yet to make their third stop of the night. Now Todd Cray gonna break off of the racing surface. He'll bring his machine down to pit road, gonna get fuel and tires on that Chevy Silverado. Caden Atkins Jr. gonna come down, as well as Edward Bray. That's gonna put the field in the hands of this man right here on screen, that 86 of Alan Young. He's gonna stay out there on the track. Stephen Ayers Jr., John McMillan Sr., all still yet to come to pit road. Stephen Ayers Jr. on the pit road now, so that's going to leave, I do believe, just a handful, possibly 2, maybe 3 drivers yet to come to pit road for their third stop. And whoa, big moment there for Alan Young, your race leader, coming to pit road. And as he ducks off this time by, that will give the lead back to this man right here, Todd Cray. Gonna take that top spot once again as he makes his way around Brian Hitz. Now going to be scored off of the lead lap, sitting back in the 14th position. He's up 5 spots from where he started tonight's race, but just not enough speed in that 13. And as Alan Young just now getting that service on pit road in his pit box, lead gonna go back in the hands of Todd Cray. John McMillan Sr. now gonna lose that second spot to the driver with fresh tires, the two of Caden Atkins, sitting 5+ seconds back behind your race leader. And in less week difference for Cray, he was able to slot himself back onto the speedway with a little bit of a gap, a little bit of an advantage. And it looks like Caden Atkins had to use the tires up quite a bit to take that top spot back. Then Cray much faster in and out of pit road on that second green flag pit stop. And that is where he begun to step away from the field, now able to maintain that 5-second gap that he had before he come to pit road and actually begin to increase it. It's now at 5.5 second advantage for Todd Cray over Caden Atkins. Going to jump around the speedway just a little bit, see what we see out there for battles. We'll jump back to this one right here as Jim Thorndike and the 59 tries to close in on Alan Young. Both of those drivers already on the pit road for their third stop. Young back on lap number 83 laps prior to that. That 59 of Thorndike came down pit road. And looking through all the timing and scoring, looks like those the pit stops, the pit crews beginning to level themselves out. No real advantage in the box, no real advantage anymore on and off pit road, as it looks like a few drivers getting some notes from the spotters, getting some help from the spotters to try to gain some ground on Todd Cray. All the pit stops, the pit road deltas right there in line with each other, so no longer really making that advantage on and off pit road, but the clean air definitely a factor for your race leader, Todd Cray. There you can see him right there, now back into some back markers. That's going to slow him down just a little bit. Gave up almost a half a second that last time around the track to Caden Atkins, but now he's going to clear the 13 of Brian Douglas, and that's going to put us with just 9 drivers left on the lead lap. Going to pull the timing and scoring right over there to the left-hand side of your screen for you. There you can see everything still sitting just like it was. Todd Cray still enjoying a 6.3 second race advantage over Caden Atkins, in a battle going on just behind them. Look at this one. Jason Ayerson, he's going to be closing in very shortly on that second spot here tonight. Can he get up there and battle with the 2? Jim Thorndike also with a battle on his hands. Let's go back here and join that 59 as he's been able to close in on Alan Young. Even though Young has those 3 lap fresher tires, big time gain here by Thorndike. If he can stay in touch, possibly even get around this 86, that's going to help him out quite a bit. And looking through those bubble racers, those bubble drivers here tonight, Nick Hunt, Lee Staples, Jason Ayerson, Michael Atkins Jr. I tell you what, why don't we go around the track, highlight those 4 drivers that were on the outside looking in, coming into tonight's race. There you can see that 44 of Jason Ayerson, sponsored by Dragon's Garden and Pure Ink, Carlton, Michigan's very own. Ayerson running in the third and final podium spot. That's pretty much going to put him up and into a chase spot inside of those last 8 drivers vying for their championship hopes and dreams here tonight. And this man, what a recovery after being off the pace a little bit early in tonight's race. Michael Atkins Jr. in that 41, he has clawed, fought, and scratched his way all the way up inside the top 10, now knocking on the door of a top 5, running in the 6th position, and that very well may be just enough to get him inside of those last 8 spots into the chase. Back behind them, The other bubble drivers there, you can see that 5 of Lee Staples. He's running in the 13th spot. Staples needs to make up some ground. He needs to make up some time if he's going to want to continue his championship run here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series in season number 2. And unfortunately, this driver right here, that Chick-fil-A 00 of Nick Hunt, he is falling to the wayside, falling back outside of your top 15, now being scored in the 17th position, down 14 spots from where he started tonight's race. So Hunt with some trouble, and his championship is slowly fading away. With all of your bubble drivers highlighted, why don't we go back to the front of this field, highlight your top 5 drivers as they run on the track. The 21 of Todd Cray has been very, very dominant here tonight, but will we see a Larson repeat? Will we see a driver who's been kind of quiet, not leading a ton of laps, come up and pass Cray in the later stages of tonight's race? We'll have to wait to see how all of that plays out, but right now, your race leader, your points leader coming into tonight's race, Todd Cray, continues to track these back markers down. Driver sitting back there in the second position, way back now, almost 7 seconds behind your race leader, the 2 of Caden Atkins, your pole sitter, running strong still here on the track. Driver back there in that third and final podium position. We highlighted him during our segment on the bubble drivers. Jason Ayerson, man, that JB Motorsports machine has been really, really fast here tonight at Kansas. Driver just back behind him, Little John McMillan Jr. in the 15 iRacing sponsored Chevy Silverado, running in the 4th position. Doesn't look like he's going to have back-to-back magical nights here in Swift Motorsports. And to round out your Performance Motorsports top 5, there you can see that 84 of Sebastian Guggen. That's going to do it for your top 5 rundown, and there you can see under 25 to go. Race leader last time by took 23 laps remaining here tonight. And will anybody come back down pit road? We've got our eyes on pit road. In Lee Staples in the 5, he's going to break off the track and come down. Staples coming to pit road for the 4th time here tonight. Stephen Ayers Jr. brings his Toyota Tundra down to pit road as well. So indeed, the 4th round of green flag pit stops now underway. Gonna jump around just a little bit, around to a few of the different drivers on the track, watching the 2 for just a brief moment. Now look at this battle right here, not for position on the speedway, as the 73 of Jonathan Holston being scored off of the lead lap. He's got the 86 of Alan Young tucked in just behind him. Short pit coming from Michael Atkins Jr. He's going to try the undercut. The 41 going to give up that 6th spot, and he'll fall through the field for just a brief moment as he is on his 4th and final stop of the race, or what should very well be the final stop of the race. There you can see Lee Staples, driver already on and off pit road for his final time. He's trying to make his way around these 2 drivers on the track. There you can see Brian Hitz trying to keep himself wound up and inside the top 10. And here comes Ron Shooty, driver being scored off of the lead lap back in the 15th position. So a little bit of a scrum going on back here between that 22 of Hitz and Shooty. Sebastian Guggen gonna come back down pit road. Looks like Guggen may have had some trouble here tonight. With having to make that extra stop, it looks like Sebastian Guggen will fall off of the lead lap, and he will fall through the field. Multiple drivers now trying to make their way to pit road. Looks like Jim Thorndike's going to come this time by. Larry Poling still back there trying to fix up on his machine. He is being scored a ton of laps down, 82 laps down to be exact. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make up very many positions here tonight as we jump inside the cockpit with that two of Caden Atkins. He's got a few drivers tucked up running right around him. There you can see him going to the outside of that 22 of hits, already making the pass on Ron Schutte sitting in the 13th position, 1 lap down at this point in time. Jim Thorndike, Ryan Douglas also gonna come to pit road this time by. Jason Ayrson in the 15 of John McMillan Jr. They're both going to break away, come down pit road this time by. Edward Bray, Brian hits all to pit road this time by as well. Multiple drivers down to pit road, and that's going to leave your top two. Todd Cray and Caden Atkins, they're going to stay out on the track. Both of those drivers last to pit road on lap number 79, and now Todd Cray going to come down pit road this time by. Caden Atkins follows him. Alan Young yet to make his final pit stop of the night. When will we see that 86 come down for final fuel and 4 tires? Continuing to watch this 73 of a Jonathan Holston make his way around this 1.5 mile D-shaped oval. And as we click off the laps here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, do want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, not just tonight, but all season long and any time that you do, whether it's Darkside Dave in the Cave or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you come through. Without you, there is no us. You are why we do what we do, and we do appreciate each and every one of you fans out there, each and every broadcast that you tune in. And well, these drivers appreciate it too, so if you haven't already, show them you like what they do for you out there on the track here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. So with that being said, throw these Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers a thumbs up. Watching John McMillan Jr. as he tries to close in the gap on Jason Ayrson once again. Alan Young continuing to stay out on the track. He's got himself just over a 16-second advantage right now over Todd Cray. Caden Atkins sitting back in third. Fourth place, Jason Ayrson and John McMillan Jr. rounds out your top 5. But Alan Young, there you can see him, that 86. He has yet to come to pit road, so these drivers will all need some more fuel, or all the drivers that needed the fuel. I apologize. Everybody having to come to pit road to get their final fuel stop in, and now Alan Young going to give up that top spot, and that's going to put the field back in the hands of Todd Cray. Cray enjoys a 5.6 second race advantage, losing a little bit of time on and off pit road that time by the two of Caden Atkins, about a second quicker on the pit delta than Cray was that last time by. So maybe finally paying off some of the relaying of information to the 2 driver. Atkins finally able to beat Todd Cray with the pit road delta. Now Cray continues to lead the race, and he is putting a lot of very good drivers down off of the lead lap and multiple laps down. Nick Hunt, there you can see him just back off in the distance, as well as a few of the other drivers out there on the track. Hunt being scored 2 laps down. Sebastian Guggen, John McMillan Sr., Lee Staples, Stephen Ayers Jr. all being scored 1 lap down. So that leaves us with only 9 trucks on the lead lap. And if I'm not mistaken, there you can see that 86 of Alan Young. He was able to make his way back onto the track without going 1 lap down. But Young in very, very hot water right now, as he's got that 21 of Cray tucked in right behind him. And how about this? How about the job out there on the track tonight by Todd Cray? Man, I tell you what, once he began to gap the rest of the field, he had it. I think the second green flag stop, 1.5 second advantage going on the pit road, and he has just opened that up ever since and not really gave up any time on the speedway. Gave up some time there on that last round of green flag pit stops back at lap 101, but it was not enough to really damage or endanger Cray of not just losing the race lead, but losing the most laps led here tonight. Cray, man, I tell you what, this is some dominating performances here. Cray, back-to-back victories. If he can go to victory lane this time by, will we see him make it back to victory lane once again after Josh Renwich? Renwich, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, going to go ahead and look at the stats to make it official, but I believe Renwich went to victory lane back-to-back weekends and kept Todd Cray out of victory lane, and now Cray paying back the favor to the field. He went to victory lane in the opening round last week here in the chase for the championship in season number 2. Can he do what John Macmillan Jr. did in the Ayers iRacing Paints Arca Menard Series here in Swift Motorsports? Can Cray lock out the first 2 races in round number 1? Can he complete the sweep of a round number 1 of the chase here for the championship in Performance Motorsports? Looks like right now, barring any catastrophe, that's going to be what happens. That's going to be how it goes down. That 21 now continues around the track, sandwiched between 2 back markers. There you can find Alan Young just in front of him, and the 22 of Brian Hitz just behind Hitz, being scored multiple laps down, 3 to be exact. He will be the first driver 3 laps down. Ryan Douglas joins him as a car 3 laps behind the race lead. David Cameron in the 10 sitting multiple laps down here tonight as well. 5 laps down here for Cameron. Jim Ott, what has happened to him? Ott out of tonight's race, off of the speedway. Jimmy Cormier also down and off of pit road. Larry Poling down off the racetrack behind a pit road wall as well. So multiple drivers falling victim to the speedway here tonight at Kansas Motor Speedway for the NEM 118. Todd Cray continues his dominance here tonight. Gonna jump around there. You can see that 2 machine of Caden Atkins. He looks to make his way by the 00 of Nick Hunt just behind them. There you can see Jim Thorndike. He's making his way around Lee Staples. He has the 84 of Sebastian Guggen tied in just in front of him. Not a battle for a spot on the speed charts or on the scoring pylon, but still a battle on the track nonetheless. Side-by-side trucks right here as we've got some battles right here. Check this out. Jason Ayerson, he's been able to take that second spot away. My goodness, what has happened to Caden Atkins? Big time trouble for this too. He dropped from second all the way to 4th, gave up a ton of time, almost 10 seconds of a give up there. My goodness, what has happened to Atkins, as last time by was the high five for your race leader. 4 laps now make it 3 remaining as the leader will cross the line here in just about another corner or 2, as Todd Cray already a half a track out in front of this field. What a dominating performance here tonight. Todd Cray getting the job done, up 5 positions from where he started tonight's race, and looks like he's going to capture his 6th flag on the year. Looking for sweet 16 out there. Can he get the job done? We'll have to wait and see. 3 laps now remains as he works his way down the backstretch, and caution on the speedway. Jonathan Holston has gone around. Oh my goodness. Green, white, checkered on our hands here. Jonathan Holston goes around. We'll check the replay. Looks like Holston off the pace, looking to just pull to the inside, and the caution flag coming out. Big damage there. You can see on that right front for Holston. So tough break for him. We'll jump Back up here at the front of this field with your race leader, and what do these drivers do? Last of pit road back around lap 100 to lap 101 for your top 5. Does anybody dare give up the track position to come to pit road to get some fresh tires? Will it be enough? These drivers, as I've said, we've got a green-white checkered here tonight, so that's going to put us a little bit past our official race distance here in the Anti-M's 118. And I'm not sure I would... Oh, and it looks like Todd Cray is going to peel off and come to pit road. Oh, my goodness. Gray willing to roll the dice. John Jr. as well as Edward Bray, Jim Thorndike, they'll all make their way down pit road this time. Oh, my goodness. This is definitely going to shake up a lot of things at the front of this field. Jason Ayrson, Caden Atkins, Michael Atkins Jr. all staying out on the track. Looks like possibly John McMillan Sr. may have just got himself back on the lead lap. We'll have to wait to see how it all plays out, how it all shakes out. But man, things getting a little dicey here towards the end. With that being said, race fans, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. We'll be right back with all your green flag action. You won't miss a thing as we run to the end with a green-white checkered. We're going to go swift, side by side.
With that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. Your car is toast. You'll need a tow back to pit lane. Press and hold your reset button and we'll come and get you.
Backtrack side as promised, not gonna miss any of the green flag action here tonight. First and only caution flag of the night flying with just 2 laps remaining. That's gonna put us under a green-white checkered attempt here tonight in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series race number 2 in round 1 of the chase here for the championship in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Jason Ayrson, Caden Atkins going to stay out on the track. Drivers with fresh tires tucked down right behind him. Todd Cray, John Jr. on the outside. They're going to look to make it 2, 3, 4 wide when we drop the green flag to get this thing fired off once again. Field going to be brought to the restart box by Jason Ayrson. He's waiting on the gas, and green Flag flies once again here from Kansas Speedway, now side by side with Caden Atkins already is Todd Cray up into that second spot. Can he take the top spot away from Jason Ayrson? Ayrson needed a solid run here tonight. Looks like he's going to have one, and to the bottom goes Cray. Cray going to look to the bottom of the speedway on the exit of 2, pull side by side, drag race into turn 3. Cray going to take that spot away as we go on board with Jason Ayrson, and there you can see that 21 just in front. White flag, final lap here tonight. Can Todd Cray secure the race win? Can he seal the deal after being the dominant car? And here comes John McMillan Jr. What a run on that outside lane. He's going to be able to put himself inside a podium spot. Can he get to the back end of Todd Cray? Try to make it a 2-truck battle for the race win. Not going to get there. Jim Thorndike makes his way around Jason Ayrson and into a top 5. Checkered flag out, your race winner here tonight in the NTM's 118, that 21 of Todd Cray. And how fitting it was that he was able to come down to pit road, get those fresher tires, and make a run to the front and take yet another checkered flag here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. That's going to be 2 in a row and 6 on the season. Todd Cray getting it done. Man, oh man, what a job, what a run there by Todd Cray, as he will bring his 21 to the front stretch. Enjoy a little bit of post-race celebrations. Smoke show out there tonight. Heck yeah, get it done, my man, get it done. Look at that, having some fun down there on the front stretch, enjoying his celebrations. And with that being said, race fans, we're going to break away for just a brief commercial break, get things set up and ready to go for your post-race interview, so don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. back trackside at the conclusion of tonight's Anti-M's 118 from Kansas Speedway. Let's see if we can't catch in and have a few words with some of the drivers that walked away in those podium spots here tonight. Let's see if we can't catch up and have a few words with the driver that walked away in the third place here tonight. Let's see if we can't dial up that 86 of Alan Young. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Hey, man, how you doing? How you feeling after being able to snatch a podium there late in the race?
I feel a lot better than I did during the race. I think we got up into the top 5 early on, and then I got tight and hit the wall and faded back to about 8th or 9th the rest of the race, and then that caution came out and was able to get the damage fixed, and I knew I had to make something happen at the end there, and kind of caught myself off guard on how quick I was able to get up through, but I will take a third, and hopefully, I think that should put us into the next round, so.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, congratulations on not just a solid run here tonight, walking away with a podium spot, but you were the last driver inside of those top 8 looking to move in or move on next week into round number 2 of the chase. And looks like with a solid third place here tonight, you are secured and you are in round number 2. So tell us your thoughts on that.
I'm just glad to get out of the first round. It was this first round was kind of off for me personally. We had a good truck last week at where we homestead, and a guy was pitting, didn't call it as early as I'd like, and I went to go miss him, and I spun myself out, so I cost myself a bunch of points there. And then tonight was just, we weren't really that great, and we got to be better. We got to be better next week to start the second round and just kind of finish off strong.
Absolutely. Well, finishing strong is something you did here tonight. We wish you the best moving forward, and we'll try to catch up with you throughout the rest of the season. But before we let you go here tonight, Alan, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that 86?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my parents, my brother, also the owner of Young Guns Creation, my kids, my teammates at LA Sim Sport, John, Lee, Ed, Tim, and a big thank you to FSM Customs. They came on board this season, and we're making them look good out front in these races. So.
All right, my man. Well, Alan, again, congratulations with the third place here tonight. Congratulations with moving on with the chase, and we'll look forward to catching up with you in one of these final 3 races if we can.
Hopefully, you'll definitely see me.
All right, there you have it. Final few parting words from the driver that walked away in the third position here tonight. The 86 of Alan Young not only secures a solid finishing spot here tonight, but also secures his chance to continue his run for the championship. And let's catch up with another familiar man, familiar face, familiar voice, Little John and at 15. It's Dave in the booth. A little bit of deja vu, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, you do?
I'm doing great, man. I got to see you in post-race interviews close to victory lane once again here on back-to-back race evenings. So, I mean, just walk us through a little bit of your race. How was it out there tonight for you and that 15?
Kind of a tough one to explain. I mean, I don't know how you kind of explain it. You run the track pretty fast at the beginning, but the tires fade away quick, and you kind of toss up to which way to run. Do you run quick at the beginning, or do you save a little and lose it at the beginning?
Well, it looked like you were pretty strong all night long. You wound up finishing 5 spots ahead of where you started, so you were able to make up quite a bit of ground. Was there any point in the race where maybe some tire strategy or some fuel strategy began to run through your head as it did last night and got you the race win?
I thought about it on the first pit stop there, but the way you run these trucks here with wide open so much, there would be no way I could save the tires and keep the leaders behind me on that final stop. So I just pitted with the leaders, kept it interesting.
Well, John, my man, it's been a pleasure watching you all season long, not just in the Ayers Eye Racing Paints Arkham Menard series, but also over here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. You just barely missed the chase here in the trucks, but I do expect to see you having some great runs as we continue throughout the rest of this season here. And before we let you go, you want to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous, anything like that?
Just thank my dad and my family, and thank all the admins here at Swift, all the drivers we race with as well. Everybody races really clean here. Very happy with this league. And I'd like to thank you as well, Dave, for broadcasting.
All right, John. Well, as always, we do appreciate those kind words, and we'll look forward to catching up with you in our final 3 races.
Sounds good. Look forward to talking to you, Dave.
There you have it. John McMillan Jr., Little John, walking away in a second here tonight, not able to duplicate the race a win as he did last night here at Kansas Speedway. Going to walk away in second this time. And that's going to bring us to the man of the hour. Going to victory lane, a back-to-back race-winning victories here. Let's see if we can't catch up with the man, the myth, the legend, back-to-back chase sweep in round number 1. Sweet 6 on the season now. Todd Cray, man, you going to ever stop winning?
Oh, man. Yeah, you got to put it all together. And another night, no mistakes and stayed focused. And but yeah, early on in that race, I mean, some great racing. There were some areas I had to make some changes. 1 and 2, I was struggling a little bit all night trying to figure that out. Caden had that high side going there early, so I tried to make some adjustments. And we all know you get up to the high side, there's not much room for error. And I had it set up so it was turning really good at the bottom. Up top, it was loose. But yeah, I think Caden got in the wall there, and we smelled a little blood, and that's when we knew we had to put the hammer down.
Well, Todd, I always mention when we have dominating drivers week in and week out, whenever there's a dominating performance by any driver, you've been able to dominate the chase so far here. Do you think you're going to be able to keep this domination up over the next and final 3 races in the chase, or do you think maybe one of these next 3 might present some problems for you?
I think when you get this point into the championship, feel like we can go out there and keep doing what we're doing, but you never know. My qualifying has been a little rough. I think we start 6 tonight, and if you get back there in the field a little bit on the start, anything can happen. And with the points so close, one bad week is all it's going to take. So you got to stay focused and prepare and be ready for the race, and know when to let out, know when to give way. Try to keep that truck underneath you. Caden, he was hitting them pit roads hard, and he was running fast. He gave us a good run for our money. Then at the end there with the caution again, you don't know what's going to happen. I had to pit. What was it? And fortunate enough, some other guys did as well. But yeah, anything can happen. But yeah, we're coming out, try to qualify better, and run up front and take the championship. That's the goal.
Well, Todd, if you continue to do what you've done here tonight, next week at Kentucky, and even over in Darlington before we head to Phoenix, we should see some fireworks for that championship night. So again, Todd, congratulations on not just a great race 1 run here tonight, but all season long. And before we let you go, you want to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody else out there?
I want to start with Dark Side Dave tonight in the chat. It looks like he beat Jess to the punch here tonight.
Ooh.
So,
I did something right.
On that.
I did something right.
Yeah, Jess is there for me, rooting me on. I appreciate that here. My cousin, Performance Motorsports, Swift Motorsports, Turn 3 Racing Network, put on a great show. Infinite Hero, Pets in Paradise, Clocks by Christopher. Everybody just runs the league here and puts on a great show. I mean, these races going like that with probably no cautions. It's fun racing. So appreciate everybody that puts the show on. Dark Side Dave, cousin Jess, and move on to next week.
All right, Todd, my man. Well, we'll look forward to catching up with you in one of these next 3 races, and maybe even all 3 of them.
We'll give it a try, dude. Thank you.
There you go. 21 of Todd Cray walking away with the checkered flag in the race win after dominating here tonight through the green flag pit cycles, able to bring himself back to the front of this field. Interesting little pop-up there. I'm going to have to check that one out. But anyways, nonetheless, we'll continue on with the rundown of tonight's race. Todd Cray, as we said, walked away with the victory. Back-to-back race wins for him. That makes it 6 on the season, and what a job he has been able to do all season long. He's had back-to-back victories before. Can he make it a three-peat here as we continue in the chase? And as we look forward to Kentucky, will he be able to duplicate that once again? We'll have to wait and see how all that plays out throughout the rest of the season. And it does indeed sound like producers hitting those buttons in the background, so we'll run down a little official business as we end tonight's show. Walking away with the race win was Todd Cray. Let's see if we can get to your unofficial race results here tonight. The Anti-M's 118 for race number 11. Chase race number 2 here in round number 1 of season number 2's championship Chase Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Todd Cray gonna walk away with that top spot once again. John McMillan Jr. with a good finish. He's going to walk away in second. Third place goes to the 86 of Alan Young. Fourth place goes to the 59 of Jim Thorndike, while Jason Ayerson needed a solid run. He's got a solid run. He should move on in the chase. Going to walk away tonight here in the 5th position. The 66 of Edward Bray going to walk away in that 6th spot. Caden Atkins going to finish in 7th. John McMillan Sr. Big Mac walking away on the lead lap inside the top 10 in that 8th position. Michael Atkins Jr. also needed a fine finish here tonight, and looks like he very well may scoot on in to round number 2 of the chase with that 9th place finish here tonight. The 84 Sebastian Guggen, he's gonna fall to the wayside. He's the first car listed off of the lead lap. Back in the 10th position, Lee Staples in the 5 finishes back in 11th, and that very well may put an end to his championship run. Stephen Ayers Jr. gonna walk away from the track in 12th. The 00 of Nick Hunt does not have the night he needed, and Hunt very well may find himself on the outside looking in. The 13 of Ryan Douglas gonna slot home in the 15th position, while Brian Hitz walks away from the track here tonight in 16th. 17th goes to David Cameron. Jonathan Holston walking away from the track back there in 18th. 19th spot goes to the 4 of Jim Hunt. Jimmy Cormier walking away from the track in 20th. Rounding out the field here tonight, that 69 of Larry Polis. Big time shout out, tip of the cap. Thank you much appreciated for all the hard work you guys do over there in the race control. All your race officials here tonight, Justin Gann, Gary Wells, as well as Shane Bliss, keeping these drivers straight and right when we need them to. So a big time shout out to you for not just what you've done here tonight from Kansas Speedway, but what you've done all season long up there in the race control booth. Big time shout out to each and every one of you out there as the race officials. And well, race fans, with that being said, if you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there on the right hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Well, there's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by. With that being said, new day, new year, stay safe, stay loved, my friends, and until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.